Hello and welcome to Nick V Uncensored. Today we've got Patty and we've got Chris, and we're going to be discussing how the C60 Evo can help with your mitochondria, and we're going to go back to basics because I have no idea what that is from a scientific perspective. Chris and Patty, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to? We'll go with Patty first.
I'm excited to be here because you have such a wonderful international audience. And our job is to reach out to people and help people have the best life ever with mind, body, spirit. And this is the easiest remedy, saved my life. Then I met Chris, and I'm really, really glad to bring it to your audience. C60 Evo rocks.
Thank you. And Chris, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here as usual. I'm perplexed that it's already 10 days into the second month of 2025. Like, how did that time go so fast? Uh, but uh, but happy to share, the research behind our molecule with you and your audience.
Thank you so much. And how did you guys meet? Patty, why don't you tell us a story?
Well, I used to be a UFO filmmaker. I won a lot of awards, which was really, really fun because I used to go to the crop circles every summer for many years in England, where you are from. And it was enchanting. I had the best time of my life, made 8 films, won a lot of international awards. But it really upset people that now we know who they are, that didn't want the truth to get out. And I was severely wounded after my 8th film won Best Film and People's Choice at the International UFO Congress. I was taken down to the ground at an airport, and it's taken me years to heal, but I'm one of the few people that survived being hit with an energy weapon. And 5 years later, I got hit with uranium in my garage. And again, for telling the truth, they said in times of universal deceit. And the only reason I'm still here, I'm sure of it, is that I've taken this every day ever since I got hit. And
Wow.
I was so blown away by the results. And my attacks were far worse than most people what they go through. But when I realized how many of my friends and family members it's helped with everything I can think of, I realized, wow, won the Miracle Molecule Award at the Nobel Prize in the 90s. And even though he looks like a kid, Chris was making the product in the 90s, he and his partner. And so when I figured out how I was still here, every day I wake up and go, yeah, still here. It's the Evo. It's this amazing product that we make in our lab. And when Chris and I met, he knew that I'd been on the air talking about it. So they were as happy to hear from me when I called and said, we should be partners. And it was like this, it was quickly. How
Wow.
soon can we fly you here? So it was night and day because they're conservative scientists, and I'm a wacky crop circle girl from Boulder, Colorado. Need I say more? And the chemistry is perfect because I bring one element that is a lot of people's consciousness, and Chris brings the intellect and the science, which a lot of other people much prefer listening to. But the combination is really confirming that C60 Evo works for almost every ailment I know that I've had. And like I said, everybody I know is just like rave reviews. So that's how Chris and I met. Was I searched out, where's this coming from? And they knew that I was the reason they were getting all these phone calls. So it's been 5 years of blowing it up on the internet. And we only go on shows with influencers that do the products, because being authentic with the product is how we sell it. And I don't have all these supplements like I used to. I don't have all these
Yeah.
facial serums like I used to. I have Evo and I have Evo. And I make my coffee in the morning and I go all day long, literally until 9. And I laugh that when I'm like completely exhausted, I look at the clock and it's always 9, like within 5 minutes. So I'm like consistent. And it's because I put this in my morning coffee, but never a dull moment all day long. My brain is just tick, 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 tick. I've never been this functional. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Chris and Robert.
Wow, very interesting. You know, just before we go into how amazing C60 Evo is, you know, you say that it's really helped you, it saved your life. Why don't you know, explain to us first your condition and how the uranium and the energy-directed weapon affected you, your body, your mental, you know, your mentalness and everything like that, and so we can understand what condition you was in, and then obviously we can just about, you know, we can tell what kind of condition. You know, you look great, you know, you seem very focused, so we can understand how great this has impacted you.
I think the epitome is that nobody probably can tell, but I had both my hips replaced this year, or not this year, it was last year. But I had both my hips replaced, two major surgeries. And the first one was so easy. I got the second one done 9 weeks later, and I completely healed quickly. But the interesting thing about the brain that you ask in my evidence is that 5 days after my first surgery, I should have been all on drugs and, laying there like, "Whoa," but I wasn't. I called Chris the day before we had a show with somebody, 5 days after my first surgery. And I said, "I'm in. I'm doing a show with you today." And he thought I was kidding. From the chest up, I was totally back. And it was because I didn't do their drugs after the surgery. And I said, with your permission, I'm going to get back on what I do. And I think the combination of an organic, exquisite oil, I do the coconut MCT, wonderful, but a lot of people prefer the organic extra virgin cold pressed, so you don't have to write and ask, olive oil. This is most people's favorite because you take it on a spoon. I say preferably before noon, and you have massive energy all day long.
Mm,
The MCT has half as much ESS 60, which is pure carbon 60 fullerenes, and it's half as strong, so I do twice as much. But I do it at the top of every day, and it's really interesting. I never even think about being tired.
that's
Never.
great. You know, my favorite is the olive oil as well. I love it because I can put it in my salad. I can have a teaspoon of it or a tablespoon before I go sleep in the morning as well. And it's got a slight spicy kick to it. And it tastes so pure and really nice. And I'm Greek, and we are very big on olive oil. So it's a great product. So, Chris, why don't you explain to us the science behind mitochondria? What is that to the layman's, you know, a young person like me has no idea what that is. I mean, I'm healthy so far, you know, touch wood. You know, so why don't you explain it to me and then explain how the olive oil and C60 Evo helps with your mitochondria?
Well, absolutely, and let's hope that your health continues.
Thank you.
Let's start with the molecule, right? So the molecule looks like this. If you're listening, just imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. You have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. We call this ESS 60. This molecule is called ESS 60. They the molecule, the three scientists who won the three scientists who discovered the molecule won the Nobel Prize for that discovery. They discovered it in '85. They won the Nobel Prize in '96. We started manufacturing it in 1991, a full 5 years before they won the Nobel Prize. They thought, for various reasons, that the molecule would be toxic. They put it in a study. Instead of being toxic, the test subjects that they gave it to, in this case it was wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history is because of this molecule. Again, a molecule I've been manufacturing since 1991. Dissolved in olive oil. So that's why when people ask, what do we recommend? We always recommend the olive oil for two key reasons. The first is we're a research-based organization, and all the research is on the ESS 60 molecule in olive oil. And then the second is, as Patty mentioned, there's a higher concentration in the olive oil. You asked about mitochondria, and that's related to our theory of how this molecule works. We say that this ESS 60 molecule is the boss, a buffering oxidative stress system. We know so this is our theory. We know from peer-reviewed published research that this molecule gets into the mitochondria. We also know from way back in the 90s when it was discovered that it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles on the exterior of this soccer ball shaped cage. And with that, here we go. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. Every cell in your body has between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria, except for blood cells, which actually have 0, and brain and neurons, which actually have 2 million. That's how much energy our nervous system uses relative to our other cellular systems. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell, and like every powerhouse we're familiar with, it has some negative byproducts. So like your car going down the road, you've got the exhaust coming out of it. You've got a power plant with a smokestack, and you've got that smoke coming out of it. In the case of the mitochondria, you actually have reactive oxygen species coming as a byproduct of the process of creating energy for your cells. Internal to the mitochondria, you have 2 antioxidants to manage those. Now, let me just talk about reactive oxygen species. If they're left to their own device, they run around your body kind of like little bumper cars. Everything they slam into, they cause oxidative stress, they oxidize, they rust, they cause problems. Internal to the mitochondria are 2 antioxidants to manage those reactive oxygen species, and that's glutathione and melatonin. By the way, melatonin is the sleep hormone. Our most consistent testimonial involves improved sleep, so there's kind of really some parallels here. So when a mitochondria gets overwhelmed, the glutathione and melatonin aren't enough to manage all the reactive oxygen species, and now they can run around like those little bumper cars and do damage. And that's where we think this ESS60 molecule comes in, because it's in the mitochondria and it can hold on to those reactive oxygen species so they don't do any damage, right? I've got a kind of fun analogy. Imagine it's Mardi Gras, it's the end of Mardi Gras, you're on Bourbon Street, and you've got these drunk reactive oxygen species running around damaging cars and windows and causing all sorts of ruckus on Bourbon Street. And the New Orleans Police Department, the glutathione and the melatonin, come in, handcuff themselves to these reactive oxygen species, and get them off of Bourbon Street. But what does the New Orleans Police Department do when they get overwhelmed? They put these drunk reactive oxygen species in a paddy wagon, or in this case, on a paddy wagon, on the ESS60 molecule, so they can't do any damage. And then when that mitochondria can replenish the glutathione and melatonin, those will come in and handcuff themselves to those reactive oxygen species and get them off of Bourbon Street. And that's why we say that this ESS60 molecule is the boss of buffering oxidative stress system.
I see. So when you mentioned about glutathione, should I be taking glutathione as well?
Yeah, glutathione is an amazing antioxidant. And of course, melatonin you have to be really careful with. A lot of people don't realize, 1, it's a hormone, and 2, that it's an actual antioxidant. They think of it as just this kind of sleep molecule, but it is a hormone. It can impact your sleep in a positive way. You have to be really careful with melatonin. And here's why. So melatonin is actually a molecule that is the firing gun that tells your body it's time to get ready to go to sleep. So if you take it at the wrong time, o'clock in the morning, and the firing gun that says, hey, it's time to get ready to go to sleep is going off, that's not the right time, right? So you really have to time melatonin really well in order to positively impact sleep. Glutathione is one of the master antioxidants, and so yeah, glutathione is always something that you can supplement. What's amazing about the ESS60 molecule is that you don't need additional supplementation necessarily of glutathione or melatonin. It actually just gives you that window where it can manage those reactive oxygen species until your body gets back to normal. So let's say you have a really tough workout, your mitochondria are stressed. Because of that workout, that's when those reactive oxygen species will often get away and do damage. But if you have this ESS60 molecule in there, it's holding on to those reactive oxygen species until a couple of hours after that workout, your body has gotten back to homeostasis, and now there's extra glutathione and melatonin to manage those reactive oxygen species.
Now, how much different is the C60 Evo olive oil different to extra virgin olive oil in Italy or Greece?
Yeah, well, we use a high quality extra virgin olive oil, and that will leave the peppery flavor at the back of your throat. I think you actually probably enjoy that. We have a super small percentage of our customers who are like, "Oh, it's kind of a little peppery flavor at my back of my throat. I don't know, maybe the oil's gone bad." No, that's a sign of a really high quality extra virgin olive oil. In fact, if you've been to, sometimes you can go to a restaurant where they'll put olive oil on a plate, an Italian restaurant. They'll put olive oil on a plate to dip your bread in, and they'll crack pepper into the olive oil. And the reason they're cracking pepper into that olive oil is they're trying to make an inexpensive olive oil taste more expensive by giving you that peppery sensation. So olive oil on its own is an amazing food. You could really call it an amazing supplement. Now, when you add the ESS60 molecule, because olive oil isn't known to get into the mitochondria, olive oil isn't known to have this buffering oxidative stress piece to it. The ESS60 molecule is just putting olive oil on steroids, like 10x steroids.
Wow, amazing. I love it. I like I said, my favorite is the olive oil. And I don't have to add any pepper because it's got, like you said, it's got that kick to it, and I love it on my salad, and I love to take a tablespoon of it as well. It does taste really healthy, and I grew up for my family telling me constantly that olive oil is very good for you, and olives and so on. So I'm very familiar with the olive oil, how great it is for you. Patty, is there anything that you'd like to add to that?
Yes, I'm bursting at the seams listening to all the wonderful oil talk because for me and most people, I didn't grow up taking a spoonful of oil to start my day or having a spoonful of oil during the day. I am embarrassed to say I bought salad dressings. I didn't make my own, artistic version with the direct olive oil like you probably did in Greece. But as far as my healing and my bones and joints, I went 2 years beyond what any doctor had seen anybody bone on bone do. And I wasn't in a lot of pain. And it was because I was taking this oil every day, which I never did in my life. And when you do this daily for years or for months, your joints really start, for me, I can't say it'll happen to other people, but the joints seem to really be lubricated. We can't say the inflame word because we're not allowed to, but lubricated. So I've been lubricating my joints for years, and I know that helped a lot in my recovery and sustained recovery. It's I'm not going back. It's like I keep waiting for, wow, it really was easy to go through what I went through. And I'm 71, so it's not like I'm a spring chicken, but I feel like I'm on round two. I'm on my comeback tour because I did survive the weapon and I did survive the uranium. And I've got a better attitude now than ever. And my friggin' mom at 95 is out reading everybody around her and still completely remembers things from when I was 10 years old. So my mom's on Evo. Her skin is absolutely gorgeous for 95. It's gorgeous for 70, her skin. And she does the facial serum on her face. So it's not like I trained my family. I just offered it. And believe me, when she runs low, I hear about it. And the lady that comes in and helps her says, we've never seen anybody like her. It's so I actually sent another little bottle to her helper because I don't want her to leave her or die either, but the results that I see in everybody around me are just reflecting back what I feel. But for people that listen to Chris's molecular description of the science, the earth version for simpletons is you take it in the morning, you have more energy all day long. But for me, it's about mental focus.
Hmm.
And with what we have coming in 2025, I mean, hello, it's been 3 weeks, 4 days, 6 hours and 12 minutes that he's been president. And the speed at which he's moving, it's like, I can't believe he's not on Evo. But I do know that Bobby Kennedy Jr. has received 3 packages from us with Grace. And I'm proud to say he's received all 3 flavors of our oil, and he's making America healthy again. The fact that we've gotten this into hopefully some of the more important hands in this country. I believe that we're going to be raising our frequency as all this information comes out. But I really, really encourage your viewers to at least try a small bottle, a 4-ounce bottle. Unless you want to take it seriously, get an 8-ounce bottle. And any of the flavors are fabulous. We have avocado, organic avocado oil as well. But we're all about making America healthy again. And in my opinion, I've been through a lot of things. I've experienced every kind of remedy and healing device. And I love my infrared pad and I love my C60 Evo because you feel it quickly. Your skin drinks it beautifully. And I can recognize people that take it. They're just more present because
Mm.
your brain is functioning better when your mitochondria is well fed and cleared out. And the other thing he was talking about, that everything sticks to the ball and then leaves. What he's saying is take it and then it leaves your body. Drink a lot of water so it leaves your body. It's a beautiful, simple way to, in my opinion, make a huge difference. And we're going to need it. We're going to need it to move through this incredible evolution that we are in. And the name of our company is also Evolution, C60 EVO, because we're the evolution of the carbon 60 industrial industry that Chris and Robert have been doing for 33 years, selling to research institutions around the world. It wasn't until the evolution of the technology moved us into realizing, oh my God, the tests for toxicity, not only was it not toxic, but these test subjects, rats, lived 90% longer, which is the longest longevity results in history on any lab animals. And they did it with this exact formula from our exact lab. So when you hear other people say 90% longer, if they didn't buy it from our lab, gotta be honest, it may or may not be true, but it is true from our lab. C60 Evo olive oil was fed to the 2012 Paris Bhakti study rats. Not only did they live 90% longer, but they died without any tumors, which was the first time in their history of being tested. So we've got a historic uh, not property, but a beautiful molecule that really is making a difference. And we're doing it into body creams, pet products, because
Hmm.
it works for everything. So
Yeah.
God bless dogs and cats. If they're old, lethargic, or young and perky, give them this and they'll last longer and they'll look better and be healthier generally. So that's what I wish for all of us in 2025. And I'm just super grateful to be a part of this amazing company because we don't get hardly any returns that I ever hear about. And our subscriptions, where you save 20%, are higher than ever. People
Well,
just don't quit.
well, that's what I love about it because it tastes so natural. You're there, and also you guys are working to heal. You're working, I know we shouldn't, we're not allowed to use the word cure, of course, but I've said it. But that's what we're all interested in. I saw a post the other day about Pfizer being in business for over 100 years, and they haven't done anything. So it's all synthetic, but that's what I love. This is what this platform's about, is interviewing people like yourselves who are working to heal the world and make the world a better place, like what Michael Jackson says. And I'm a big fan. But
Yeah.
guys, thank you very, very much. I'm going to leave the link below in the description so the viewers can have a chance to have benefits from this olive oil and more. And I believe it's 10% discount. Is that right, guys?
There's so many
Yes.
different discounts. Using your link in the link below, your secret code, will get them 10% more off at checkout. But 20% if you sign up for a monthly subscription, and you can quit easily, but most people don't. 15% if you buy any of our sets, which is 2 or more items, and we offer a great variety of them for pets, lovers, for people, and for health, for skin, we have different packages. But if you get a case, it's 25% off, best deal of all. And use his code to get another 10%. You're going to get a screaming deal. We sell a lot of cases because people are stocking up, people are gifting their family. And here comes Valentine's Day. We ship all over the world every week. I'm amazed at the countries we get out to. And our lab in Texas is a Patriot Lab, really supporting freedom, health freedom, and the evolution of everything. I'm so excited. I am loving this. I can't get enough news. I got up at 4:30 this morning and I'm like, no, stop. But I just
Ah,
couldn't wait. Yeah, the
well,
world is really exciting right now.
absolutely. There's a lot going on. I'm very excited for Robert Kennedy to Jr. to be confirmed, because we're just going to have, this is going to be able to enforce this even more into the market, and abolish the synthetics that are killing us slowly, making the wrong people rich. But guys, thank you very much for sharing everything with us today. The link is below in the description. Chris, is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers as well before we finish?
No, I think you guys covered it. We're working, a lot of supplements are very excited to share that they work at the cellular level. With our BOSS theory, again, buffering oxidative stress system, we're excited to share that we work at the subcellular level. And that's where you get to start addressing the root challenges that people are experiencing.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you very much. You take care. And
Thank
I'm
you.
going to have some olive oil in a bit. So thank you. And we'll speak again very soon. You take care and God bless. Bye bye.